All right, welcome back, everybody. How y'all doing out there? It's been a long time since I made a video, at least one of these type videos. Hope y'all been watching the garden videos. The garden is coming along nicely, so that should be exciting to watch it grow the rest of the season. All right. So anyway, um, so I don't know how we got to where we are today. I mean, the thing about it is everything is full of so many lies. Everything is built on a lot of lies, and the truth is there, and nobody wants the truth. I mean, you can put that truth out there all day long, and nobody wants it. But like I always say, he who controls the media controls people's minds, and that's why the media is so powerful. Because whatever they say on the news or whatever they say, everybody believes. For the majority of people believes. But there's a lot of people out here who are wide awake and see what's going on, and they see right through the bull crap, right? We can see right through it. But for a lot of people, they just kind of, did you hear what they said on the news? Yeah, there's wildfires going up in Canada over there. Climate change. Now, I don't care what your stance is on that. I'm not with it. Okay, I'm not with it at all. I don't buy it. Then it's gonna cause what, respiratory issues. They're saying people with asthma. Of course, the last thing that they did when people took the thing in their arm, right? That you know what I'm talking about. They that was a respiratory issue again, wasn't it? How convenient. There's another one, right? It's gonna be the air quality is bad because of the smoke that's coming from Canada. That's what's going on, right? Then I seen another article where they said the deadliest creature in New York was and I looked at the article and it was a mosquito. Kills millions of people. But y'all know what did they release? Huh? What did they release down in Florida? Genetically modified mosquitoes. Billy Boy Gates and them, right? And they did it in a couple of other states too, where they released genetically modified mosquitoes. Now, why would they do that? It makes no sense, you know? So there's a whole bunch of everything is built on lies. As I said, the church as well, the Christian church is lies. My videos show it, and I'm sorry. I mean, I don't want to offend anybody, okay? But all you have to do, and I know when I was in Christianity that we had we had to defend the faith, and I did. I used to argue, not argue, but we used to get into it with people and defend it, and I could. For the most part, I could do it. But when you come into the truth and you can clearly see it and show it to people now, because see, I was in belief then. Now I'm in knowing. I know the truth now. I was in belief before. I'm not in belief anymore. I mean, I don't know about y'all, but do y'all want lies? Is that what you want? Lies? Do you want to live on a lie? Because seeing a lot of this country is built on lies. And it's sad. But the country is built on lies. And a lot of people know it. This government knows it. Y'all know it. And everybody just walk around in la la land like everything's okay. And it's not. That's why everything is in shambles. It's falling apart. Because it was based on lies, built on lies. My grandmother just passed. She was 95. And everybody in there it's hard to go to church and everybody talking about this Jesus and everything, and you sitting in this pulpit. I'm not singing the songs that I used to sing. I'm not clapping anymore. No, because I know it's false. And the majority of the people in there are so broke and poor. You should have seen the area. It was a church on every corner, right? A church on every corner that we saw. And I'm gonna show you. Let me show you what was at the church. Let me show you what sign they had. And that area was so bad looking. And it was so run down. And the people were so poor. And they sitting there singing about Jesus. And they don't have a clue that he was the reason why you so broke and poor. You were given this character and put a church on every corner, and your neighborhood is slums and bums. And then reality in the real world, when you step out, nobody cares about you. But this is the sign that I saw right outside the church. You see that? Make a plan. Make a plan to get the COVID vaccine booster and vaccinated. All right. And when we went there was funerals before my grandmother, and it was like 4 or 5 more funerals after that. People are dying left and right. Look at that. This is at the church in the areas. So that's not misinformation. That's a sign. See that? Let me make that little so y'all can see the background kind of. See that? And there's the sign right there. All right. So enough of that. But it's just showing you that our people now, and the thing about it, the Christians ask me, well, how you could talk about the Bible when you don't believe in it? That's the dumbest and the stupidest thing I ever heard. And they need to stop saying that. I know more about the Bible than they do. I know more about the New Testament than they know about the New Testament. I study that thing up and down. And y'all know I'm not lying on this channel. If I wanted to, I could start me a church. And I can stand up there and I could be the best lineless preacher that ever was, because I know more than their pastors know. And most of the people in the church are ignorant. They go there just to hear what the pastors say, but they only know a couple of things. John 3:16, Romans 10, Romans 10:16, and all, 10:9, if thou shalt confess the Lord Jesus, believe in thy heart that he raised from the dead, thou shalt be saved. All those type of verses. Romans 3:23, for all have sinned and come short of the glory of God. They know those type of things, stuff that's regurgitated over and over again. We know about the rapture, and I could do a teaching on the lesson. I could do one on the rapture, showing that there ain't gonna be one, but they believe in one. They think Jesus is coming back. How can somebody come back who never existed? But then they'll get mad at me, but then they won't watch the video. If you think that I'm a liar, then all you have to do is go and watch my video. That's it. Watch the videos and see if I'm lying or not and prove it wrong. That's your job. Go back and watch my Resurrection Deception, exposing Jesus, or who's the Messiah according to the Most High, or the virgin birth and the stories that are around it, or do the Passover, or praying over your food. Do any of the ones I've done. Go get your Bible, because I'll encourage you to get your Bible, and then you go back and follow it. So if you say you study the Bible and you study the Word of God, then go back and get your Bible and follow along the video and see if I'm lying or not. That's all you got to do. Don't hate me for trying to wake you up to tell you the truth. I was in it for 40 years. I wish somebody told us the truth. But I was always one to engage with other people to find out what the truth was. So one day I just said, you know what, forget it. I just noticed on the Christian station that one pastor said this, one pastor said that, right? And they said it was all filled with the Holy Ghost and the Holy Spirit. All of them said it, but they all spoke something different. Then I thought about the denominations. How come there's so many different ones believing different things? So I decided, well, let me take a step back, meditate a little bit, and I said, you know what? Let me read for myself. Because they always told me to start with the book of Matthew. And that's what I used to do. But that's why it's so confusing, though, because it's full of confusion. And how you say you studied the Bible for all these years? You claim that you studied the Bible for all these years. You have Bible study. You've been there studying all the time. And you tell me you don't see nothing? You don't see no red flags at all? Or are you ignoring them? So anyway, this video is not going to be about that. But it's just showing you, man, we got to wake up. Y'all got to wake up, especially us as a people. We have to wake up. You have been lied to big time. To the fact you don't even know who you are anymore. But that was done purposely. And it's still being done purposely. That's why the sign I just showed you, they said that they wanted us to be the first. I did a video on it already. One of my videos I showed. They wanted us to be the first to take that. That's our reparations. How do you give reparations to the people who naturally own the country in the beginning, in the first place? You think I want your dollar bills? You think I want your you cut down our trees? You make little green dollar bills with you put people on there? Huh? You know what I'm talking about, right? And then you say that's our money. And then so you give me reparations back for stealing everything. You're going to give me some green papers? Basically some trees that you cut down off the land? And say that's why I won't be reparations for y'all. Y'all can fight that fight till you're blue in the face. You're not going to get it. Because the truth, they know that you own the land. And they're not going to give you, and you're not going to get it back now. They're bringing immigrants all in your land, putting them above you. They're bringing them in here, getting them better places. And you see, and look at California. California, you got our people living all on the streets. Right? They bringing in the Asian Americans. They even got they got some kind of protection through the court system now, right? Even that. But have you got any yet? No. You good with it though, right? So, like I said, I'm not being racist. This is sometimes you can't even tell the truth no more. Nobody wants that. So, for all of y'all people who saying I'm lying, go back and watch my videos, get your Bible out and follow. And then you see who's lying or not. That's all you got to do. Don't hate me. I'm just trying to wake people up. And there's so many people, I'm thankful. I see so many people out there now showing the truth. They tag me here. I see this video. I see another one. And people are waking up. And I think they know it. I think they know that the time is up. And I think pretty much y'all going to wake up too. You'll have to. And it's going to hurt you. Because he was your Superman. You sung all them songs about him being the light of the world, and you really talking about the sun, S-U-N. The whole time, sun worship. Sunday school, Easter egg hunts, all of it. Yep. But see, when they came to this country, they brought Christianity with them, as that showed you in other books that I've done. Videos I've done, right? They actually show it to you. Matter of fact, I might pull one up in this video. I may do it or not. I don't know. I might do it. But they tell you that they didn't know nothing about Christianity. They didn't know nothing about Jesus. They brought it over here, and now that's the biggest. Um, what you want to say? I guess Christianity is the biggest religion in America, right? And that's the truth. It's the biggest one here. It's put all over your TV set. But why? I broke it down so simple. It's the same Bible that they're using, and I made it so easy for y'all to read it and follow along. I showed you something that your church is never going to show you, and it's in there. But again, like I'm saying, this stuff, what I'm talking about is lies. Everything was built on lies. They lied about who we are. They lied about the country. They gave you a false God to worship, right? They misclassified you as a people. And they also lied to everybody else, the white folks and everybody else that come. And everybody just regurgitate the lie. And he who controls the media controls people's minds. Why? Because you got the biggest platform to lie to people, to show people, right? And get people believing things. Why? Because they saw it on TV. That's why when people see a movie star, they get all excited. Ooh, I see you on TV. Ooh, you're you. And people don't know how it's really silly that looks, especially to the movie star, right? Because you see me on TV, you don't know me. You don't know that person. They're acting. They get paid to act. And because they're on your TV screen, you call them a star. You get all excited because you see them, because you seen them playing a movie. When I see people like that, I don't even, trust me, I've seen them. They're just people, y'all. They just people too. And that's how they get paid. They do their job by acting on TV. So I wish people would just take it down a notch, bring all that down. But it won't, because that's how society is set up. It's done that way on purpose. All right, so like I said, this video is about this lies, right? And then lies that are accepted, right? So I'm about this. This was sent to me. All right, that's what I want. This is what I want. Let's see if I can get that bigger. All right. So I'm gonna go ahead and take myself off the screen. And I'm gonna let y'all see this right here. Put my glasses on so I can see better. And let there be light. All right. So all right, so look at this, y'all. Let me get rid of me, because I don't want y'all to focus on me. Let's focus on with the screen. All right. Alabama Cherokee tribe recognizes Jerusalem as Israel's eternal, undivided capital. We have chosen to identify with a people as a people, says Chief Larry Smith of the Northeast Alabama Cherokee. Now look at this, y'all. Look at that. Can y'all tell me this guy is supposed to be an Israelite here, and this is the Chief Larry Smith of Alabama Cherokee tribe recognizes Jerusalem as Israel's undivided home. Now, can y'all tell me what's wrong with this picture? Can somebody please tell me what is wrong? This guy right here is an American Indian chief. How could it be? And this is the Israelite. So what I'm gonna do, I'm not trying to make this video too long. I gotta show y'all some things to show you the lies that are being taught. Okay? The lies that are being taught. So there you go. This is the Cherokee chief, Larry Smith. He's a Native American. That's what he claims to be. Let's read a little bit now. The Northeast Alabama Cherokee held a ceremony on September the 25th, this is probably last year, in Gunnersville, Alabama, to establish a relationship with Israel. There, the tribe presented a resolution unanimously passed by the tribal council, recognizing the sovereign Jewish nation of Israel within Jerusalem as its eternal undivided capital. We vow for our full support in pursuit of peace of Jerusalem and the nation of Israel, which wherever means may be necessary, it said. Now, y'all know y'all watch my videos, right? Y'all know I did a video on this where the real Israel was. The event centered around a potluck lunch, included expressions of solidarity with the Jewish community and comparisons to the experience of native tribes in the North America. So this guy was a tribe supposedly in the North America, right? Chief Larry Smith began his remarks by noting that if there is a people that can understand how the Jews feel, it is the Cherokee, which received an amen from the audience. We have chosen to identify with a people as a people. He added, Seth Penn departed, deputy representative of the Red Wind Tribal District, said the nation of Israel has a lot in common with the Cherokee people. They have been removed from their homeland and came back and have to fight for their homeland. Wow. Some historians even argue we can find our DNA roots in Israel. He said, I'm not saying that's true. Smith echoed that, saying, are we the 10 lost tribes of Israel? Debate. But there are so many of ceremonies, so many of our celebrations that coincide with the Jewish traditions and the Jewish holidays, he added. The first white settler in what is now Montgomery was Jewish, Abraham Mardukaya. He traded with the local tribes and was convinced of their Jewish origin that he kept addressing them in Hebrew, hoping to receive a similar response. Now, hold on. Ain't both of these people white? Let's look at these people again. Okay. Now, am I being racist? No. I'm just telling you the truth. Okay. They would both would be called pale men. Correct? Because now, let's get into some more. Let's slide it down. I just wanted to show you them again. I don't care about the Maybelline products and all the other stuff. Okay. Smith said Penn brought the idea of resolution to him about 4 months ago. While he was receptive to the idea, the fact that Penn was getting a great response from the Israeli side made him more determined to do it. It has been a struggle. It's still a struggle. Laura King, the co-founder of the Alabama Israel Task Force and former national chair of the Jewish Federation of North America, network of small Jewish communities, made a presentation on the behalf of the Israeli consulate in Atlanta. King expressed deep apologies from the council and the General Annette Sultan Dayden for not being able to attend. She really wanted to be here today. It was really important to her, but the event being on the Shabbat in the middle of Sukkot made it impossible. Because I'm gonna skip down. No, that's gonna read it. In the letter to the tribe, Sultan Dayden wrote, "Your friendship and support beautifully expressed through this proclamation from the Cherokee tribe of the Northeast Alabama, and invaluable and greatly appreciated." She added, like the Cherokee tribe, the Jewish people have an undeniable, unbreakable bond for our native land. During centuries of dispersion, the Jewish people never severed nor forgot its bond with the historical homeland. All right, y'all. And wow, both of these are lies. And they big lies. I'm not going to read everything. Y'all can find this article yourself. Wow. It says, as honored guest represented the Jewish community, King and this reporter were presented with native blankets and necklaces. Citing Genesis 12:3, was quoted on the inside of the resolution presented folder. Smith said, the Jews are still God's people. If you are an evangelical Christian or a chassid Jew, you have to understand God entered a covenant with Abraham. And when God enters a covenant, it can't be broken. There's no denying that God had his hand on the country of Israel as the other country that size would have ceased to exist 60 years ago. The only God that had his hand on that country was the United States of America and the League of Nations, who created it in 1948. I'm not being anti nothing. I'm just telling the truth. They created that, and they pushed the Palestinians out that land, and they placed the land of Israel, which I did a video with Albert Pike in 1871 that the World War II was going to be improvised, already pre-planned, so that they could make a nation state of Israel. Go back and watch. Matter of fact, I'm just show the video that I did on that. All right. Hey, y'all, so now I'm about to get into this video related to the article we just saw, right? And then look at this guy, genealogist Donald Yates uncovered secret of Cherokee DNA. So this guy is claiming that he is a Cherokee. Okay, so let's just take a look at Mr. Yates.
Begin with author and genealogist Donald Yates, who not only through his own Cherokee ancestry discovered his own Jewish roots, but he's also leading the charge in the DNA discoveries of the ancient roots of the Cherokee and other Native American communities. Welcome, and let's start by telling us about your specific background.
I was born in Georgia, in the heart of the old Cherokee Nation, and my mother was a double descendant of the last Grand Chief of the Cherokee people. That's Chief Black Fox, and I discovered the original Cherokee origin narrative, which was recited at every Green Corn Festival. All the young people were made to learn it in the olden days. And the first words of it is, when we came from beyond the great waters. And it was the story of the Cherokee migration across the Pacific Ocean. So, that began to tell me that the Cherokee had a lot to them that people are not aware of. And that's certainly true.
So fascinating. And you spent years writing the equivalent of 2 encyclopedias on the topic called Cherokee DNA.
Now, this guy claims that he's a Cherokee. He says also in this video, y'all can put us up, he said that they came from Europe. That's right. This guy's a genius. See, and these are the type of videos, like I said, that gets people twisted because you don't do research or you don't read or you don't know the truth, right? These are the type of videos that, and I said, there's so much untruth out here. It's ridiculous. Everybody knows what type of people they saw. When you go to any landmass, right? Who was indigenous people? When I was in the Navy, I went to the Pacific Islands. The Pacific Islanders, guess what they look like? Us. When you went to Australia, who was the Aboriginals? In South America, in Africa. Who are the Aboriginal people everywhere? You see, so there's lies, and this guy now is claiming that he's a Cherokee.
Studies 1 and 2. So is it a myth that Native American peoples came across the Bering Strait as we're taught in school?
They didn't come from Siberia or across some land bridge from Asia. They came from Europe. I remember I had a blog. Cherokees came from East Mediterranean and spoke Greek. Oh, the wrath of God descended on me. People, they thought I was a complete kook, but it's true. And then later I got into the DNA, and their DNA, sure enough, is from the same area too. Cherokee DNA Studies 2.
Look at these Cherokees, y'all.
More real people who proved the geneticists wrong.
So we were showed that they didn't go by DNA. They go by the Dawes roll. Y'all saw that in my other video, right? I think it was reclassification of the indigenous Americans or something like that. So, I mean, it just blows my mind. And I don't understand, how could y'all let this happen? How could we let this happen? You know what I'm saying? When you don't stand up for who you are, other people will take your identity. It's the same in Australia. They are now the Australians. And we know that the Australians are the Aboriginal people. But now they're Australian. And they are the invaders who came there, who stole the land, basically took it over, and there you go, right? Now they're Australian. Same thing happened here. Except now we've been reclassified over and over again, as I stated in my other videos, from Negro to Black to colored to Negro, the African American, mulatto. We've been everything. Our names have been changed all the way around the board. They called you copper colored at first, now they didn't start calling you colored. I went over, I did videos, I had historical accounts, books. I showed y'all in the videos what the people saw, and they was writing as when they was with the people. And there was nobody that looked like him or the other guy in the article, or anybody that was on this book now he just showed. But he's a Cherokee. And he's from Europe, he said. They didn't come from the Bering Straits, they came from Europe. So I'm not gonna play this whole video. I just want to show y'all that the lies that are out there. And if anybody who watched my channel, you know this guy's not telling the truth. I don't care what he calls himself, a genealogist, whatever he calls himself. So we can easily debunk him. Our people, my grandmother just passed, she's 95. So we can easily debunk him. We know who we are. We have always been in America. We have never lost, we got our land. We have never been slaves. But this lie will continue because he who controls the media controls people's minds. And that's what's been going on all this time. This is sad.
The skinny on that is really the Indians came from Europe. Their mitochondrial types are all old world from Europe.
Wow. And tell us about the evidence of Jews coming to the Americas as early as the 3rd century BCE and were among the so-called volunteer helpers who you say sailed with an Egyptian fleet organized by the wife of the pharaoh, who was the queen of the sea.
In fact, the name for America was the White Land. Appalachian Mountains means the White Mountains in Egyptian. Essentially, they originated as Greeks and Egyptians and Libyan Jews.
Okay, y'all. All right. Okay, he got me choking up. Wow, the White Lands. You see what they if you don't claim your land back, you see what he's trying to do. He's trying to take your land. But now we're going to go to the real definition of an American now. We're going to get it now. Just hold on. Now we're going to go into the truth. Enough of this. Enough. All right, y'all. Y'all see what's on my screen, right? Now, look at Webster, Noah Webster right here. Doesn't Noah Webster look just like the guy we just saw in the video? And I hope the video played. I hope y'all saw him. Or at least y'all saw the people in the article. He still looked like that. Correct? So now let's read what our Aboriginal American really looked like and still look like today. Let's get it. A native of America originally applied to the Aboriginals or copper-colored races found here by Europeans, now applied to the descendants of Europeans born in America. So who did they see when the Europeans first arrived in America? Did they see people that look just like themselves? Because they would have called each other pale face. Hey, pale face, what you call him pale face? You pale face, your face is just as pale as mine. Right? And I'm not trying to be racist, just telling the truth. So copper color, right? You see this penny in my hand? That penny is like my skin. You see? Don't put it on my forehead. See? Copper color. Okay? And we have many different shades of brown, or what you call copper. Correct? This right here is black. You see that? That's black. Okay. So am I black? I don't know anybody that's black. So if I had a brown crayon in front of me and a black crayon, which one would I identify with? Would I call myself black? Or would I call myself brown? I am brown. So why do we call black people? And then the original origin of that word black means pale, white, devoid of color. So I'm not that either, nor I'm this. So why are we called what we really look like? We're brown people. We're different shades of brown or copper colored. And that's what they saw when they came to America. And that's the 1828 Webster's Dictionary of an American. And the guy on the video, I'll take these pennies off my forehead, look just like this guy right here, Noah Webster. But now he's claiming the Cherokee came from Europe. Really? Y'all know go back and did the video, go over my videos. Just go over my videos. I have the books from 1800s to 1700s, and the people are telling you what the people look like. Negroes. Did he look like a Negro? Let me show y'all something else. All right, y'all. So now I'm in the Oxford Dictionary, right? We're in the Oxford Dictionary, right? And let's go to 3A. All right. And can y'all read this with me, please? A dark-skinned person of any origin in early U.S. used usually with reference to American Indians, usually offensive. So what did they look like, y'all? A dark-skinned person of any origin in early U.S., that means the so-called, and I'm not going to say U.S. because the United States is a corporation that landed on Turtle Island, right, which is America now. In early U.S., though, used usually with reference to American Indians, usually offensive. And that's the Nigger. Who do they call that? Who do they call nigger today? Is it the guy that we just saw on the video? Is it the guy who claimed that he's Cherokee? Is he the nigger? Who calls himself that today in America? Okay? So not even Africans call themselves that name, right? So let's look at the Birmingham. That's spelling it right. Yeah, Birmingham. Let's look at niggers. All right, let's see what they look like. Images. Okay, y'all. I hope y'all seeing my screen. What does that say? This is the mascot, not the current mascot of the Cleveland Indians, right? But look right here, the Birmingham, who are they called? Niggers. Look at this. See the hair? See the fro? You see what they did? So who was the Negro? And look at this color of the skin. Are they black or are they brown? See, it's time for people to tell the truth. Let's look at the Washington Redskin. That's why they changed the helmet again. Washington Redskins. Okay? Let's get it. Look at the helmet, y'all. Look who's on the helmet. Did the guy in the video look like this guy right here? He's a copper color person, isn't he? This is the reason why they call the Washington Commanders today. They got that logo off there because they know who it was. And we know who it was. Our people told us who we are. So it's kind of crazy to watch other people come and take your identity. But that's what the original definition states, don't it? Originally applied to the copper Aboriginals, the copper color races found here by European, but now the name America applies to descendants of Europeans born in America. So in other words, they stole your name, your land, and your identity. Then we were reclassified as colored, Negroes, blacks, and all these other names to the new name of African American, which I already showed in my other videos. After the movie Roots in 1977, he was sued. Alex Haley lied. This was a government plan after Martin Luther King died and he who controls the media controls people's minds to make us believe that we came from Africa. They made a whole series called Roots in 1977 and it aired. But in 1978, Harold Corlander, a white author who created a book called The African, 9 years earlier, sued him and won in court for $650,000. Half the rights of Roots, the money that he made. 10 years later, we were called African Americans in 1988 by Jesse Jackson and his cronies because they said we preferred that name. My grandmother hates the name. My father hated the name, right? And their children hate the name today. They say we're not African. Now, there's no offense to the African people because they are from that continent. But we have always been here. And that's why they took away this helmet to show you. So I gave you 3 references, right? Now we're going to look at the tobacco packages, right? Let's look at the tobacco packages. Original tobacco packages. They call them Black Indians. Let's look. Look, y'all. Let's go to the original packages now. You see this? Pen of the Darker Ages. Why do they call it the Dark of Ages? See, the Renaissance is the new birth, right? Look at this. This is Virginia. Look what the Indian looked like. See the head feathers? See how dark they were? Now I'm going to ask you one more time. The guy who just now claimed himself, and the other guy, and he showed all the European people on there, because he said they came from Europe. He just said that, right? These are the Aboriginals. See, Aboriginals mean the first Americans. When you look at the Olmec heads, all through South America, the people in the Caribbean, they were all looking like me and darker. It's like Aboriginal is the first. These are the original tobacco packages. Because why? Because tobacco was grown in Virginia and shipped around the world. You want to see another one? Look. See? They call them Demo. They're Black Indians. See the what's that ship right there called? I'll think of it in a second. I always forget the name of that ship. But that's the kind of ships they had. Right, colonial ship, yeah. And they had them back in the day, and it shows you at the time frame. This is what this ship looked like. And look at the Indian smoking the peace pipe. You see that? What color is he? You see the afro? Did the guy we just saw have an afro, y'all? I'm just gonna be real calm with this video. I'm not gonna get too upset. But we must wake up to the lies. Now let's look at some more. All right. These are original tobacco packages, people. Right? Let's see some more. You see that? They didn't have long, stringy hair. Two black boys against American native facts in history. See? These are the original tobacco packages, people. Let's look at this one. See? You see what they're showing? So how are these the Aboriginal Americans, right? As it just stated, they were copper colored races that were found here by Europeans. Look. See the Indian? Let's go some more, in case y'all don't believe it. And I know it's hard, but let's look. American English, look at this. West Virginia. You see that? Look who's sitting up there in the garb. Look at what color they are. See the hair? If you can see the hair, look closely at the hair. That's a fro. And it got so many depictions of real Indians. These are not slaves. These are Indians. See? Latson, West Virginia, Maryhill, London. See how the Indian look? Indigenous, what? North America. So didn't the guy just tell us that he was an indigenous North American of the Cherokee North American Indian, and that they're from Europe? Now see the guy in the middle of the picture? He's European. The Aboriginals are the dark-skinned people with the skins around and the feathers in their head. So are y'all seeing this? I know you are. But this is so hard for people to want to tell the truth. And that's what I said, the lies. The lies are just too much. There's tons of the pictures. Tons of them. Look, these are back in the day, people. Look at the Seminole Indian tribes. Look at this, y'all. Look, look. Oh my gosh. I guess they copper-colored people, aren't they? So how did, again, the guy claim that he was a Cherokee? That he was an Indian? He didn't look like these people. And the people he depicted didn't look like that at all. Let's look at some more. Look at the Indian tribes, y'all, of the Native Americans. You see that? See the hair? See the froze? Look at this. These are not slaves, people. Here's the Mississippi Indians. Let's see what they look like. So why are we having a hard time today calling ourselves, trying to find out who we are? Why is the schools teaching our people that we are Africans, that we're from Africa? Why have we been reclassified over and over again? What's going on? And yet the lies continue. And so that's why I don't call myself Black, colored, Negro, African American, or any of these made up names that they gave us, because they take you away from your land. And I want this video to spread because I want y'all to show this to other people. This has to come out. You see, that guy wasn't an Indian. Am I being racist? Well, I'm telling being factual. Okay. And now let's go to again. And there were many explorers that came to America, right? Now here's one of them, Giovanni Verrazzano. Let's read about him real fast before I get on it. Giovanni di Verrazzano was an Italian explorer of North America in the service of King Francis I of France. He is renowned as the first European to explore the Atlantic coast of North America between Florida and New Brunswick in 1524, including New York Bay and Narragansett Bay. So now, let's see what he says. Giovanni Verrazzano, Letters to King Francis. Let's read it again. In 1524. There he is. Right? So King Francis of France, this is the 8th of July, 1524, reporting on his voyage of the New World. So I'm not going to read the whole thing, but I'm just going to get to the nitty gritty. I'm going to start right up here where my cursor is. He said, we saw that the land stretched southward and coasted along in a search. Now, right now, you can see the picture, right? This is the east coast of the United States of America. These are the areas that he went in, okay? You see that, right? His travels. You see my cursor. All right. And then let's see. We saw the land stretched southward and coasted along in search of some port where we might anchor the ship and investigate the nature of the land. But in 50 leagues, we found no harbor or place where we could stop with the ship. Seeing the land continue to the south so as not to meet with the Spaniards. Now, why? I said this in the last video, right? I'm on my when I did this. Because they were warring against each other. The French, the Dutch, all of them, they were warring with each other. During these times, it was your pirate wars and all that stuff was going on. So they wasn't friends. There was no slave trade going on. They were exploring. Because in 1492, Columbus came, but he never came to the main state of America. Columbus came to what you call the Caribbean area. He never made it to the mainland. So once they started sending, once they found it was here, they started sending ships and explorers to America. Let's keep reading. Seeing that the land continued to the south, as not to meet with the Spaniards, we decided to turn and skirt it toward the north, where we found the land we had sighted earlier. So we anchored off the coast and sent the small boat in to the land. We had seen many people coming to the seashore, but they fled when they saw us approaching. Several times they stopped and turned around to look at us in great wonderment. Why? Why? We're about to find out. We reassured them with various signs, and some of them came up showing great delight at seeing us and marveling at our clothes, appearance, and our whiteness. Our whiteness. Now, the guy in the video, they wouldn't have marveled to see him. No, they would have marveled to see him. So if the people look like the guy that was he claims to be ancient people from the Cherokee and they're from Europe. Then if they saw other white people, they wasn't been they would have been, oh yeah, just some other white people. They would have been more concerned, maybe marveling at the clothes they were wearing, but they wouldn't have marveled at their whiteness. Because see, they'd never seen white people before. Because this is the first explorer to explore North America. And they'd never seen white people before. So if there was white people already in America, in the Americas, they wouldn't have been like, oh, okay, just some white people. They never seen them before. So how can the man in the video or the other guy claim to be Cherokee and they don't look like nobody we just saw so far? None. I'm connecting the dots. Let's keep connecting. So we anchored off the coast and sent the small boat into the land. We had seen many people coming to the seashore, but they fled when they saw us approaching. Several times they stopped and turned around to look at us in great wonderment. We reassured them with various signs, and some of them came up showing great delight at seeing us and marveling at our clothes, appearance, and our whiteness. They showed us by various signs where we could not easily secure, well, we could most easily secure the boat and offered us some of their food. So they wasn't savages, or we wasn't savages. My ancestors weren't savages, right? We were on the land, and I shall now tell you, Majesty, briefly what we were able to learn of their life and customs. They go about completely naked, except they around their loins. They wear skins of small animals like martens, with a narrow belt of grass around the body, of which they tie various tails of the animals, which hang down to the knees. The rest of the body is bare, and so is the head. Some of them wear garlands of bird feathers. Let's stop right there. Now, we just saw the colonial ships, and we saw the tobacco packages. Remember, that was 1700s, late 1600s, 1700s. This is 1524. He just described the people that is on the same people that's on those colonial packages, didn't he? Except this is 1524. 1524. Like 150 years earlier, before that. Or more. And he described the same people. How is it that he described the people that they depicted on the original tobacco packages? The same looking person that was on the originally on that was on the Redskins helmet. The same people that were called the Birmingham niggers. The same thing that is stated that in early America usually referred to dark-skinned people, right? In the early US, referred to the American Indians, usually offensive. The 1828 Webster Dictionary, originally, the name American originally applied to originally applied to the first people or the Aboriginals who were born in America. But now it applies to people that are European. Now they are considered Americans. We are considered Africans, African Americans, or colored, or Black people. But let's keep reading. We assured them with various signs And some of them came up showing great delight at seeing our clothes. I read that. Now, Your Majesty, briefly, what we were able to learn of their life and their customs. They go about completely naked, like we just read. They wear skins of animals like martens with the various tails of animals which hang down to the knees. The rest of the body is bare. Is so is the head. Some of them wear garlands of bird feathers. They are dark in color, not unlike the Ethiopians, which with thick black hair, not very long, tied back behind the head like a small tail. So our people wear all kind of braids and stuff like that now, thick black hair, right? As for the physique of these men, they are well proportioned, medium height, a little taller than we are. They have broad chests, strong arms, and the legs on the other body parts well composed. There is nothing except they tend to be rather broad in face, but not all. For we saw many with angular faces. They have big black eyes. Now, those people that we just saw in the video, they had blue eyes. Did they have big black eyes? What kind of people have big black eyes, y'all? An attentive and open look. They are not very strong, but they have sharp cunning and are agile and swift runners. Who's on the track teams? Who's on the football teams? Who's the fastest people running? Do you see any Native Americans that they claim that look like them that's running track and agile runners? Imagine them coming off the boat and seeing the people who they said who they were, but they're trying to claim Native American heritage. And let's see, if we don't stand up, then they'll get away with it. So y'all can read the rest of this. Okay? Enough on so you can see it's very sad that the lies continue. And they're going to continue. So now I'm gonna go back to my other video now. I'm gonna pull something off one of the videos I did. So check this out. George John and what he wrote, an original history of an ancient America founded upon the ruins of antiquity, identity of the Aborigines with the people of Tyrus and Israel, and the introduction of Christianity by the apostle St. Thomas. So they brought Christianity to the Americas. You see that? They brought Christianity to America. And this guy right here observed and watched the Indians, the so-called Aboriginals for years, and concluded that these are the Hebrew Israelites of the scriptures. Okay? So as you're about to find out. And the name of the book is The Original History of Ancient America. Give a shout out to Tamar for giving me this information. Tamar's a subscriber. She gave me the information of the video that's played earlier. So, and we went into the book a little bit, and we're going to check it out for ourselves. And now, this is not the only book that you've seen that said the exact same thing, you know, about the so-called, how many times have you heard, even in the movies, that the lost tribes of Israel were in America, right? And that's why the Hebrew Israelites can be on the street corners, but a lot of them are still mixed up in Christianity, not knowing that that's false. But as you see, if you go through my videos, you will see that that's false, and I'm gonna keep on showing that. All right, so here's the book that we're going to get into, okay? And again, this was made in 1843. So that's why I say get a hold of these older books, okay, before they're gone, so you can get the real history and they describe the people, what they really look like, versus what Hollywood shows you today. And everybody's being taught in school a totally different curriculum, but not the truth. So y'all just check this out. All right, so y'all see my screen, right? American. Well, the reader at the threshold of argument by the question. What question? How can an Indian be of Israel? Y'all see that? We will answer this and refute the misnomer before the analogies are investigated. The name Indian, as applied to the original inhabitants of either or both the Americas, Canada, the islands, in or adjacent to the Gulf of Mexico, have no authority founded upon truth. So he said that name Indian has no authority founded upon truth. Y'all hear that? The name was given in error and has been so continued from the time of the, now I don't know how to pronounce this name, so y'all forgive me if I do it wrong, Genoese to the present day. Throughout this work, no position will be advanced that cannot be defended. So whatever he said, whatever he come out, he said he's not going to put something out that he can't defend. The wrongful appellation originated with Columbus. So Columbus was the first person who messed up. And for proof of the assertion, the following is presented. All right, y'all. So what I want y'all to do, okay, because it's so much information in this video right here. It's called Historical Accounts of What Was Found in America. This is one of my videos. Who did they see when they arrived? Now, the guy claimed to be Israel, right? The heritage with Israel. So, like I said, these are firsthand accounts of the guy who was observing them and saw what they looked like. And notice these were Aboriginals. Now, we already know what an Aboriginal was. They were copper-colored people. They looked like me, right? And darker, right? And I showed you the Aboriginals. They showed them on they depicted them on the cigarette packages and everything, and by the colonial ships back in the day. In 1524, what's his name? Giovanni Verrazano, he also showed you and told you that they're dark, like the Ethiopians, right? So, and I brought up the Christianity fact. Now, y'all, please watch this video. I mean, I was going to go through it and try to give y'all some information on it. A lot of information in here, but it's the information in this video shows that the guys over there are totally lying. Not to mention what I already done in this video, what I've showed you already, right? But I'm just trying to give y'all the truth. So I prefer y'all to just go watch this video. Historical accounts of what was found in America and who did they see when they arrived. Talking about the Europeans, right? But this is one thing. I'm going to play this little part right here dealing with Christianity and Christ, okay? Remember, they introduced, as the title said when I showed you in this book, they introduced Christianity to the Aboriginals. They didn't know nothing about it, right? So listen to this. Go ahead and play it. Proof of their great antiquity, they have no knowledge or tradition in the north of the life or crucifixion of Christ. Do y'all hear that? See, they have no knowledge or tradition in the north of the life of crucifixion of Christ. So, in other words, they know nothing about God having a son to die for them. Now, why would God send a son to die for them in Jerusalem while they over in America? I mean, I don't know why he didn't ask that question. That don't even make sense. So you had a son that's going to die for the sins of the world. Meanwhile, your people over here in America, and they don't know nothing about your son that you just died on the cross for your sins. Because it never happened. As I've been showing y'all, and as will continue to show y'all the resurrection deception that will be coming up soon. I will be doing the resurrection deception, so y'all stay tuned for that. And by the way, in case y'all already know, I'm just going back over this video. The resurrection deception has already been done. So also check out that video too, the resurrection deception. But you can see real quick, it says, they have not returned to Jerusalem. It says, are they now still wanderers in the wilderness in the western, as their ancestors were in the eastern hemisphere? The affirmative has existed for ages, and even now continues. They have not yet returned to Jerusalem. One fact is one great importance in proof of their great antiquity. They have no knowledge or tradition in the north of the life or crucifixion of Christ. Yet they have a knowledge of the deluge, talking about the flood, and actual practice the laws of Moses. Again, we must repeat that we are writing of these Aborigines as they were at the time of European colonization. This isn't in this book, okay? Let's keep listening. I already showed y'all the virgin birth. Go check out my virgin birth video. I already proved you the fact, and I could have did a lot more to show that all the stories concerning Christ were false. He's a made-up deity of the Greek people, once again. The reason why they didn't know anything about Christ because they worshiped the one true God, the Most High. And the Most High said he would never put another God before him. But we're going to get more scriptures when I get into the scriptures and show you more about the Most High. All right. So I'm going to read that one more time. One fact is of great importance in proof of their great antiquity. They have no knowledge of tradition in the north of the life of crucifixion of Christ. Yet they have a knowledge of the flood and actually practice the laws of Moses. So what does that tell you? They were still following the laws of the Most High, because that's what we were supposed to have been doing, his laws, statutes, and commandments. But a lot of our people were not. And he told you, if you don't obey, then he told you that these people will come across your land and take over. And you're going to be the bottom, they're going to be the head, you're going to be the tail. They will lend to you, you shall not lend to them. The stranger shall get above you very high, and you shall come down very low. Is that not what's going on today? Look at this. He says, they are the great Hebrew family. They may fall in the estimation of some readers upon religious principles. It has been shown that they have no tradition of the crucifixion. You understand that? So they're telling you, so all this Christianity that y'all following today in these churches and worshiping Jesus, y'all got that from the Europeans. And I know this video not going to be about that, but it's still part of the lies that's been told. But these guys telling you, he's observing the people, right? And we already know the Aborigines, where we know what they look like. And it has been shown that they have no tradition of the crucifixion or the desolation of the temple. Is there no sentiment in the mind of the Christian reader as the first fact is unfolded other than that of historical data? Upon a moment's thought, it must be apparent that the blood of Christ cannot be upon them or their children. Why? They wasn't there. They knew nothing about it. But it was told the so-called Hebrew or the Jews, what they call Jews now, but crucified Christ. But we know Christ is not real. That's why they knew nothing of him. It was taught to them. See? Upon a moment's thought, it must be apparent that the blood of Christ cannot be upon them or their children. Their ancestors never shouted in the streets of Jerusalem, crucify him, crucify him. The Aborigines of North are Israelites, and of the house of Jeroboam, not Jews, of the house of Judah, as distinct of all importance. So this is what this man wrote. Okay? So he called the Aboriginals Jews or Hebrews. But the other guy in the video claimed it to be linking it with Israel. And we know that Israel was created in 1948. Right? I did a video on that too. So I want y'all to link up some of these videos I've done. Matter of fact, let me make this smaller. Hold up. So I got some other references, I think, in this video. Not this guy. It's some other books, yeah. Okay, here's one too. So I will have to find it But I want y'all to just watch my video because it shows you what they look like. It tells you what they look like. Let me see if I can find that real quick. All right, y'all see, and here's another one. The distinctive characteristics of the Aboriginal race.
It said an inquiry into the distinctive characteristics of the Aboriginal race of America. See that? And it was written in 1844. Okay? Let's name the book again. Now we're gonna see that he said, the so-called American Indian, what they look like, right? Distinctive characteristics. Let's look at their physical characteristics, right? So let's read this. All right. In its adage among travelers that he who has seen one tribe of Indians has seen all. So much do the individuals of this race resemble each other, notwithstanding their immense geographical distribution and those differences of climate which embrace the extremes of heat and cold, because that's what America has, right? Heat and cold. He says, so regardless, even though some from the cold and some from the hot, they all look the same. The half-clad Fuegian shrinking from his dreary winter has the same characteristic lineaments, though in exaggerated degree, as the Indians of the tropical plains. And these again resemble the tribes which inhabit the region west of the Rocky Mountains, those of the Great Valley of the Mississippi, and those again which skirt the Esquimaux on the north. All possess alike the long, lank black hair, the brown or cinnamon-colored skin, the heavy brow, and the dull and sleepy eye, the full and compressed lips, see and salient but dilated nose. So,
see my nose?
Let me show y'all something. He said that they possess the cinnamon skin, right? Here I got some cinnamon. You see this? That's cinnamon. All right? Cinnamon skin. So they telling you what the people look like. Now I just put that cinnamon on my skin and you can barely tell. See that? Look at my hand. But that cinnamon is on there. All right, that just shows you what he's talking about. Now, again, I'm gonna show y'all after I show this video, we're gonna go to Google, we're gonna see what copper colored people look like and what they don't look like. All right. So anyway, he called them cinnamon brown, see, brown like I am, or cinnamon colored skin. That's what the people look like. All right. Full and compressed lips and the salient but dilated nose. These traits, moreover, are equally common to the savage and civilized nations. Savages. Whether they inhabit the margins of rivers and feed on fish, or rove the forests of subsist of spoils of the chase. It cannot be questioned that the physical diversities do occur, equally singular and inexplicable, as seen in different shades of color, varying from a fair tint of complexion to almost black. See, this what he said, this the color of the people. And that's why they found copper-colored races here, as you still see today. The so-called Aboriginal American is still here. He is now called an African American. And this too under circumstances in which climate can have little or no influence. And it don't. No matter what, we're gonna, just like the scripture said, each seed gonna produce after its kind. Okay? So this is who we are. This is how we gonna look. So also in reference to the stature, the differences are remarkable in entire tribes, which moreover are geographical approximate to each other. These facts, however, are mere exceptions to the general rule and do not alter the peculiar physiognomy of the Indian, which is as undeviable characteristic as that of the Negro. See, there you go. For whether we see him in the athletic cherub or the stunted charmer, in the dark California or the fair Barora, he is an Indian still and cannot be mistaken for being of any other race.
All right, so y'all see that. So that's just part of my video, right, that I've done already. And I want y'all to go back and check this video out. This is 1954, how to such a, well, why would we call it African American? This is why they want us to immigrate.
You got the level on that, Joe? Hey, how's this video coming through? The light's hot enough. Don't forget to dolly it close. All right, return, stay clear, number 2 camera, and all set. Stand by.
See, back in the day, y'all, they called us the American League. What about they, the American League? Well, that was nowadays, but that's what they call it. Let me skip all this.
Because it's found to have a terrific impact on business. I'm talking about a new market, a big new market, millions upon millions of new prospects with $15 billion to spend. That's right, I said $15 billion. That's a lot of money, isn't it? The surprising thing is that it's a fresh market, still full of opportunities. It grew up so fast, got so big in a hurry, that few of us realize its scope. Now, these days, nobody's likely to pass up chances to sell. And yet right here in our own front yard, there's a neglected market. There's money waiting to be spent. To get the story of this market, to be able to tell you the secret of selling the Negro, we did a lot of digging. We talked to leading businessmen, the customers, and the salesmen. We went to Washington, D.C. We set up cameras and other key points around the nation. And out of this all, there emerged a story, the story of a new market. Market we're talking about, the new Negro family. Their name is Wells or Wilson, Smith or Brown or Alexander or Breen. They live in Chicago, in Atlanta or New York, in Detroit, St. Louis, Los Angeles, any one of 1,000 cities and towns. All over the country, families such as this are enjoying new prosperity. They have new interests, new standards of living, a buying power they've never enjoyed before. They're good prospects for practically all types of goods and services. All too often, though, they're overlooked prospects. Why? Because of some good, valid reason? No. They're overlooked because of mistaken ideas, because of out-of-date ideas about how the Negro lives and how he buys. The truth of the matter is that the Negro lives pretty much the same as other folks. He buys pretty much the same way, too.
All right, y'all. So y'all can watch this yourselves. I'm not gonna play that whole thing. That's 21 minutes. But that gives y'all a clue that we were never called African Americans or anything like that. And see, that's why they wanted to integrate. See, y'all, we didn't want to integrate. It was the government that used Martin Luther King to integrate, to help use to get our people to unite. Because our people wasn't breaking down to go on to people. When you go back and talk to the real people back in the day, they wasn't breaking down people's doors to go sit in a white restaurant. We were actually doing fine, as you can see in the video. And they recognized that the billions of dollars. There was look at the Purge video I did, right? We had cities and places that we owned everything. That's why they wanted to integrate. And then they created the big box stores. Now we don't own anything. Now we begging for jobs. Well, before integration, we were doing fine. And we had lots of money. Go talk to the old people, they'll tell you. But Martin Luther King was used for us to integrate. That's when we first started being unemployed. All this crime, all these drugs, and all this stuff was pumped into the neighborhoods, called the project. That's a different video. I'm not going to get into that. So my last thing I'm going to do to wrap this up, I'm going to go play part of my video again. Now, this is showing you the $5 Indians, right? But it's not me. I'm going to let it play out with Chief Kalinago. Chief Kalinago is interviewing the people on the reservation. And y'all gonna get to listen to it yourselves. If you didn't watch the other video, well, maybe you'll see it in this one. Okay? So I'm gonna go ahead and play that, and that's gonna be the end of this video. All right, y'all. So this is Chief Kalinago, right? And y'all can check out his channel, the Original Son. And so he called the reservation, and this is a live phone call that he did a few years back. And I want y'all to listen to this, right? Because now the lies that have been told in this country, you should be able to see it through this video. If you have not seen this before, you know, if you don't want to watch, you can watch it again. But for the people who have never seen this, listen to this. And that's why I said the people, this country is full of so many lies that the lies have got to stop. They know who was in America already, but they don't want to admit it. And then we're going to have people making videos like they're from the Cherokees from Europe, and now they're European. Look, the things I've showed you already, right, in this video. This showed you clearly that when Giovanni Verrazzano, he know what he saw. He didn't see nobody that looked like, he didn't see other white people standing over here. And that's why if you go back and watch the videos I just showed y'all to watch, right? I just played. Go back and listen to it and look into the verbiage. It said that they wouldn't even go into the white people's houses. So if they were white people, then those are white people that's on the video today. So obviously they're not white people, but you get what I'm saying. I'm confusing myself. These people are white, and now they're claiming to be Indian or Aboriginal Americans now. They're not Aboriginal Americans. Okay. But let's go ahead and play Chief Kalinago. And I'm just gonna let this play out. All right, everybody. So this is the video I was talking about. This is the brother right here. This is America Original Son, Chief Kalinago. So I got permission from him to play this video. This is a good brother right here, and I want y'all to listen to the video because this is a real conversation that he had with the Cherokee Nation. I want y'all to pay close attention. This is one of the great points of this video, is this conversation. Real quick, I just noticed how YouTube is like blurring out my videos. I've said everything looks blurry. It wasn't like this before. My videos were not blurry looking like this before. Now everything is looking blurry. And I've heard that they actually do that. They go back and kind of like mess with the sound or do some kind of stuff. Now I'm kind of going back on some of my stuff. I'm like, wow, it wasn't this way before. I mean, it looks terrible, but anyway, I was just putting that thought out. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and play this. That he called directly
and spoke with these people. And I want you to hear what they say about the bloodlines and everything, what they, what's going on with the nation. Because you can clearly see the hijacking. Now, this is for everybody, to enlighten everybody. Okay?
And real quick, speaking on the bloodline, I almost forgot that. So the guy in the video said that they used the DNA test and found out that, yeah, they probably from the people from New York, from Europe. Remember that? He said that, right? That they used the DNA test. He's a genealogist. So, but now you're going to hear something different than this right here.
Because I just want the other people in this country to give us the respect. Planes, trains, automobiles, you name it, was created here. And wait till I do to the inventions. Wait till I get to that. That's going to be another whole video. The real inventors of a lot of these inventions out here that then never got credit for the inventions that they created. That's right. America is not just the new world. America is the old world. America is the promised land. The promised land is in America. And these are facts. That's why every nation wants to come to America. Everybody follows the American people, their moves. Now you got everybody, break dancing, you got everybody popping, pop locking, you got everybody. See, when I was a kid, they said it wasn't music. Or the dance moves that we did. Now the whole world is doing them. Whatever is done in America, the whole world follows. America is the promised land that everybody wants to come to. Unfortunately, the people who really own the land are on the bottom, have been discredited as something else. So listen to Chief Kalinago. Let's get into it. Y'all pay close attention to this.
Is peace, love, harmony, and light. This is Chief Kalinago with another video. Man, listen, I just had the most interesting conversation whatsoever. All right. So let me give you a prelude as to what this is about. Okay. A sister hit me up and said, "Hey, Chief, you know what? I've traced my lineage and come to find out that my family is actually Cherokee, right?" So I called the Cherokee Nation, trying to get, asking them about the application, how I could become a part of the member. And they said, "Hey, you know what? We don't have Black people that's part of our nation." All right. So I was like, okay, well, you know what? Give me the information. I'm going to call, because as you guys know, I had already done a video questioning, the validity of the Cherokee Nation chief in Oklahoma. He has 132 Indian blood in him, but yet still he gets to be the chief. So today the spirit led me to call the Cherokee Nation. And the conversation that follows is exactly what took place. All right. Now, whether they knew I was recording or not, I made it very clear from the beginning that it was on the record. Okay, so I do want them to hear that conversation, because you see, family, when you listen to this conversation very well, you will hear the semantics and the games that's being played. All right? You will hear the semantics and the game that's being played. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to let you listen to it, because I don't want to give it away. Listen to, and I'm not talking about just listen. I want you to hear the conversation, because there's a difference between listening and hearing. You see, listening is physical, okay, but hearing is spiritual. So I want you to hear the conversation. Hear it. Let it resonate with your spirit and your soul, okay? And then you'll peep the game, all right? So the conversation that follows is exactly what transpired or what took place, okay? Once the video is done, then I will give my conclusion, all right? Peace.
Thank you for calling Cherokee Nation. If you know your party's extension, please enter it now. If you would like to dial by name, press the pound key. If you wish to speak to our receptionist during normal business hours, press 0 now or continue to wait while I transfer your call. Please hold for the next available operator. Lado. Cherokee Nation, may I help you?
Yes, good day. How you doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing absolutely beautiful. It's a beautiful day. Just have a couple of questions, to put on my records. or in my record rather. And you guys a Cherokee Nation located in Oklahoma, correct?
Tulsa, Oklahoma.
And what is the name of your chief?
Bill John Baker.
Bill John Baker. Okay, beautiful, beautiful. Okay, so I'm also Cherokee as well. So a quick question. Do you guys have any Cherokee members that are of the the dark skin, dark browns, the so-called black, so-called African American members?
Hey, I'm not sure of the registration, okay?
Say that again?
I'm going to transfer your registration.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
Destination registration can help you.
Yes, good day. How you doing?
Good, how are you?
I'm doing fine, thank you. They just actually transferred me to you. I have a couple of questions. Just some questions for my record. I'm also Cherokee, but I wanted to ask, do you guys have any dark skinned so-called black, so-called African American members?
Well, I mean, we have the freedmen. Is that what you're talking about?
No, I'm just talking about because a lot of so-called black people, we are Cherokee, so I just wanted to know.
Blood? Is that what you're talking about?
Anyway?
Mixed blood? Is that what you're talking
No,
about?
not mixed blood. I'm Cherokee. I'm not mixed with anything. I'm just asking, do you have any members that's so-called black?
I don't understand your question, I guess.
Okay, do you know so you have an idea of what they call black people right here in the United States, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, so do you have any members that are so-called black, but they're Cherokee?
Well, I still don't understand. I mean, you can't be black and you can't be, you got to be full blood.
I can't hear you. Say that again?
I don't understand I'm still not really understanding your question.
All right, so how do I qualify to be a member of the Cherokee Nation?
You're saying you're Cherokee, but
Yes.
you're black.
Yes, well, people consider me to be black, but I don't call myself black because I don't look black. Black is black. It's a color. I'm not a color. So,
What do you mean?
I'm brown. I'm the tone. I'm not black.
But that doesn't. You still have to prove what your race or your ethnicity is by your. We use what is called the Dawes Roll.
Okay.
And the Dawes Roll was established by the federal government, and that was taken between 1899 and 1906 in what is now northeastern Oklahoma.
Okay.
And that was taken were the people who came over on the Trail of Tears.
Okay.
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 And they were able to sign that if they met the eligibility requirements back then.
Okay.
So if they were here and they met those eligibility requirements, they could sign up on there and get a roll number. Now, if we can trace a lineal ancestor back to the Dawes Roll, then you would be eligible to apply with the Cherokee Nation.
Okay, and when was that?
One of the other 5 civilized tribes or whatever that might have come over on the Trail of Tears.
Oh.
I had to stop that. Did y'all hear that? So the only way you could be an American Indian is that you had to sign on the Dawes Roll. As I stated to y'all earlier. You had to sign on the Dawes Roll. Do you know how many millions of Aboriginal people that were on this land? How did all the people? So if you didn't sign on the Dawes Roll, you were left out. Remember, we read that back over there, right? So if you didn't sign on if you're not part of their organization, as I told y'all last time, then you are now not an Indian. So now you got to go through the proper paperwork. And you see how she was avoiding his question. I mean, he was very clear when he asked her. He wasn't being hard. He said, do you have anybody that look like me? She couldn't understand the question. So all the viewers that's watching this video, y'all know how clear he was. That was not a hard question. And she knew what he was asking. If she didn't know what he was asking, then she real dicks. But she was avoiding what he was asking. So let's continue the video.
Okay, I get that. So when was that those roads taken again? In 18 what?
1899 through 1906.
Okay. So I traced my family here in the Americas way before 1806, but
we don't need to go back that far. I said 1899 to 1906.
So what happened
We're looking at about 7 years.
Okay, so what happened?
We're looking at a 7-year time window.
What I'm asking is, what happened to those of us who didn't, partake in the Dawes Road period?
Okay, then you would not be eligible.
You wouldn't be eligible, even if I'm American Indian.
Right. You had to sign up. Your ancestor would have had to sign up on the Dawes Roll.
Okay, and you said so you're okay. So your chief is, I think 132 Cherokee, right? Correct. So well, that's what it says, because I've done some research, because I've been trying to connect back to my roots, right?
Okay.
So if your chief is 132 Indian, then what is the other 32? Because it's only 1%.
Blood quantum cutoff. We don't have a blood quantum. It all goes back to if you can prove if you had a lineal ancestor that signed the Dawes Roll. That's what we use.
Okay,
so stop right there. So how in the world did Henry Louis Gates do a DNA test on Morgan Freeman, Tina Turner, Don Cheadle, and I forgot the guy that played on that hospital show? They told him that they were Indian, and he told them a lot of so-called black people, African Americans, think that they're Indian. Now, why did he? I'm not gonna go to that video yet. We're gonna show that video because this is hard. I just want to get through this one first, but I gotta show that video. You just heard her. They don't go by blood. They go by who was on that Dawes Road. So how can he get a deal?
All right, y'all. Real quick, I'm not going to show the video. Okay. So this, like I said, this is a pre-recording that y'all watching. So I'm not going to show that video. If y'all want to see that, then y'all can go watch this full one, and you can see what it on that. But I'm not going to play. I'm just going to play the conversation between Chief Kalinago and, the guy at the reservation. And then you as you see now, he's talking to the lady, and she said you had to sign on the Dawes Roll, which is silly, right? That's the only way you could be an Indian, claim to be a Cherokee or American Indian today, if your ancestors signed the Dawes Roll, which is really, really silly. Millions of people, and if they didn't sign it, but that just show you the hijack that they were setting up. So now who they can claim as an Indian. And that's how that got now on the other video. And the guy, they can all claim to be Indians today. Because the Aboriginals didn't sign the Dawes Roll. They didn't have us on there. We didn't sign it. Other people signed it. They had the other classification of people who they deemed as Indian. And then it's a government organization. And that right there should tell you that it's not legit. But these are the people they're portraying as Indians, although it's you so-called African Americans. You are, or you so-called black people. Y'all didn't come off a slave ship. Y'all was already here. So let this video play. I'm just signing out, letting you know that I won't be showing that video.
DNA testing today and test them and say, oh no, you don't have any Native American in you. And you know what? If he tested these people, they wouldn't have the same bloodline.
Because these ain't real, excuse me, these are not the real American Indians. The real American Indian is sitting on my computer screen. So all the millions of people in that 7-window period that did not sign up on that freaking Dawes roll, that means they were left out. What about the ones who's way in the backwoods, the ones way over there, the ones way over there, ones that have never heard of the Dawes roll? So what are they called now? Oh, we're going to get into that. Because we're going to Walter Pleckers. Anyway, let's get back to the video. We exposing this today, y'all.
Improve that.
But basically, even if I'm full-blooded Indian, because I'm a full-blood Indian, all right? So even if I'm full-blooded Indian, because I wasn't on the Dawes rolls, or my family wasn't on the Dawes rolls, that means I cannot be part of one of the 5 tribes, correct?
Well, if they use the Dawes roll,
No, we did.
civilized tribes use the Dawes roll.
Okay.
Okay. Now, other tribes use different things as far as their eligibility goes.
Okay.
But we have to use the Dawes roll, yes.
Oh, wow. I mean, to me, that's a little bit, I mean, I know it's nothing that you could do about it, but it's a little bit unfortunate because, again, my ancestors have always been in the...
That's what happened in the history. That's what happened way back then, and there's nothing we can do about it now. You know, that's what happened back then, and that's what, you know, they had the freedom to choose if they wanted to sign those rolls back then. Some people did and some people did not, but they weren't forced to sign them.
You see that? Who gives you the right to come to this country to set up your little rules and regulations on top of the people that was already here? And if they didn't sign, they're not an Indian now, based on what you're saying. Who gives y'all the right to do that? You step foot in somebody else's land, and because they didn't see, let me stop, because I'm getting upset. But you see the arrogance in that. That's crazy.
They could choose to go on their way and be a part of the Cherokee Nation, and they could do what, you know, live and be where they wanted to be.
Okay.
You know?
All right. That's true. I get that from your perspective, but, and again, I just need clarification. I really appreciate the fact that you're taking the time to share some of that information, to me. So my next question is, are you aware or do you know that, the Aboriginal people of all the Americas with dark skin people?
Can I refer you to someone else that knows a lot more about this than I do?
Yeah. Okay.
I just answer the phone. Just a moment.
All right. Thank you. All right.
That's the running.
Registration, this is David. How can I help you?
Good afternoon. How you doing?
I'm doing well, thank you.
All right, cool. I'm G. So you're the third person I've been transferred to. So I'm just trying to get, some clarification, from, to put on the record. I'm Cherokee by blood pedigree. And I was asking, how do you become part of the Cherokee Nation? So is there any way you could give me some information on that?
Sure. The process for enrollment with the Cherokee Nation requires an ancestor on the Dawes Commission roll, and that roll was made in 1902 in Indian Territory, now Oklahoma.
Okay.
And if you don't have an ancestor on that roll, regardless of how much Indian blood you may have, you are not eligible to enroll.
Okay, so, all right.
Therapy for me, I think when the pandemic happened.
Right. So I mean, what you just told me is straightforward. So I guess my next question, it kind of makes it a little bit obscure because my family they didn't participate in the Dawes Rolls. However, we have been in America from time immemorial. We've always been here. So that means I wouldn't be able to even submit an application and be accepted, correct? Because it's not done through blood. It's done from. So it's done through an organization and not through blood, correct?
That's correct. Yeah, our tribe is, and we have a constitution that we adopted in 1976 and then amended in 2003. And in that constitution, the Cherokee people who were organized at that time chose the Dawes roll as the sole source of proof for our organization.
Oh, okay. So with that being said, is it safe to say that even if someone wasn't, wasn't an Indian by blood, okay, meaning that their ancestors have always been in the America, as long as they were able to get on that Dawes Road, they are still considered Indian.
Well, they're considered a citizen.
Well, they're considered a citizen.
Right. The relationship between the United States and the Cherokee Nation is not based on blood. It's based on treaties.
Okay.
So if someone's ancestors were members of the tribe at one time, but for whatever reasons they may have chosen to leave the tribe or forced out of the tribe or abandon the tribe, there's lots of scenarios. The tribe itself would have continued on.
Okay.
And so the relationship between the United States and the Cherokee people is carried out through our government. And so we do have people in our tribe who are not Indians.
Okay.
We just got through with an extremely contentious legal battle with the descendants of our slaves.
Okay.
And so they want.
So real quick, y'all. Then, again, I'm going back to Henry Louis Gates. If they say they don't go by blood, then how is he taking DNA tests today and telling our people that they are not Native American? They're not Native American blood. They're from somewhere in Africa. How did you take the blood if these people said, you clearly hear that the woman and the man just told you they don't go by blood? So how are you taking a DNA test and they're telling you you're not Native? Y'all see the hijack? So when you're doing these DNA tests, now Dan Calloway, I keep bringing him up, but Dan Calloway did a video. I'm not going to put that video because it's going to make this thing too long. And there's other people who did videos too, who took these DNA tests. And what happened was, I remember this one, there was two sisters, same mother and father. And they went to different companies. Don't you know one was something else and one was something else. And they came from the same mom and dad. They were twins or something like that. And everybody's running at these DNA companies right here and out here to get these DNA tests. And they got all these mixed things all up inside you. And it's all for entertainment purposes only. Now, I might just put that video from Dan Calloway in here. I might just show I might just say how this video is. I might just show the picture of it so y'all can watch that on your own. And there's other people who did it too. Or y'all can just do the research, go back and look yourselves. Okay, just go look at the videos yourselves. Look at Dan Calloway did one on these DNA tests. Go look at that up. It should be still out there. I don't know the link right now, but I want y'all to go find that. Because how did he do a DNA test and tell these people that they're from Africa and that they have no Native American blood in them if these people told you they don't even go by blood? Do y'all get what I'm saying? So there's another hijack. Gotcha. Henry Louis Gates, you're done. And I don't know if Morgan Freeman and the rest of them are part of the thing to make us believe that no somebody that look like us are now Native American, because we know all in our families. I remember as a kid, I talked to all my friends. They all said they had Indian in them. But you know what? We don't have Indian in us. We are the Indians. That's a fact. So that's why they all said it. Because they came from tribal people. But now, here's Louis Gates coming up with this DNA test, and they all believe in the test. And the test is, now we're showing that the test is false. Because the people themselves tell you they don't go by blood.
On a federal lawsuit and are now enrolling as members of the tribe, even though some of them have Indian blood, some of them don't. We don't care one way or the other. Okay, what we care about is, are their ancestors on the roll that the core population chose in 1976? Well, they are. And, we have people on our roll that are on there by fraud. We have, I found probably, I'd say about 5 or 6 families that their ancestors either bribed officials or whatever the process was.
Okay.
But they got on the roll.
Okay.
And then stayed on the roll for all these years. And so by virtue of our choice to make the Dawes roll the sole source, they're in.
Okay.
One of those descendants is sitting right now on our tribal court.
Oh, okay, okay.
Every time I see him, but
yeah, I feel you.
It is what it is.
Yeah, yeah. So my next question would be, I'm actually, if someone was to see me in the street without my indigenous attire, because I wear my feathers and my regalia, every single day. Now, if I were to walk in the streets without that, somebody would assume I'm black because of my complexion. So you know where I'm going with this. Do you have any people who fit that description that's actually part of your nation?
Yes. We have, as I mentioned, the descendants of our slaves. They are now members of the tribe.
Oh, and they're descendants of slaves.
Right, they are descendants of slaves. Now, some of them do have Indian blood because the slave masters, creeping in the slave house and children.
Right.
But those children were not recognized by any legal marriage.
Okay.
And so their descendants are not enrolled as Indians. They are enrolled as freedmen.
Oh, okay. Okay, and that's perfect. Great information, which brings me to my next question. Because I've done a little research again, I'm connecting back to my tribe, and I'm a full-blooded Indian by blood, right? What that means is, are you aware that in the Americas, all over the Americas, I mean, we know that the United States was established on the American continent in 1776, correct?
Well, yes, I would.
Okay. So before 1776, there was no such thing as the United States. Is that correct?
Right.
Okay, beautiful. So before that, even before the 13 colonies and all that, even before the so-called transatlantic slave trade, are you aware that all the people on the American continent were dark skinned?
Well, I know where you're going with that, and that's the Afrocentrism argument, and we don't subscribe to that.
It's a matter of that it's the fact that the Aborigines of this land were dark skinned. So therefore, if all the Aborigines of this land, and it's scientifically proven that they were dark skinned, how is that other people get to claim to be Indians, and then we can't because we didn't take part in the Dawes Roll?
Well, the Dawes Roll was selected by the Cherokee people, who were the people who owned the Cherokee Nation.
Oh,
we are the Cherokee Nation, and
so is the same thing. So all right. So what is the original name for Cherokee?
You mean in our language?
No, it was Anionwea, right?
Well, that's the word for principal people.
Yeah, the principal people. So what I'm saying is, Anionwea was changed to Cherokee. Is there a reason why you guys don't use Anionwea and now use Cherokee?
We do use that word among ourselves.
Okay.
In our relationship with the United States, the United States knows us as Cherokee, and so that's what the treaties say.
Oh, okay.
We go by what the treaties say when we're in dealing with them.
Oh, okay. So the United States pretty much decided to say, okay, you know what, we're not going to use Anionwea, let's just create something new, and then we created Cherokee.
Well, that word has also a Cherokee origin, but it's the word Cherokee is an anglicized version of the Cherokee word Achilaki, which means people of fire.
Right.
And so, we don't mind being called Cherokees. We've been called that for 500 years, so we don't have a problem with that.
Okay. And before I conclude, again, I've done some research, and I realized that no disrespect, and I'm here again just to get information. So I'm not going to disrespect the culture because I think everyone needs to be respected either way. So I'm going to respect that. However, I've done some research, and I realized that your chief is John Bill something, right?
Bill John Baker.
Baker, yeah. So I realized, I found out that he has 132 Cherokee.
He's actually 3 30 seconds, but that's neither here nor there. He's still very much a white man.
Yeah, and I did a lot of research to realize that his ancestors is actually from Ireland and German and everything, but yet still he gets to be a Cherokee. And so how is that even possible?
Well, it's possible because his ancestors were citizens of the Cherokee Nation.
Oh,
Citizenship does not divide.
oh
It
okay.
passed 100% from parent to child.
Mhm.
And so his ancestors, who actually were Indians, I'm related to him distantly,
Mhm.
but his ancestors were Cherokee Indians at the time of discovery.
Mhm.
His ancestors were citizens of the Cherokee Nation at the time of the first making of the Treaty of 1783.
Mhm.
And so they've been citizens of the Cherokee Nation ever since. But we don't base anything on blood quantum.
Yeah,
We base it on whether your ancestors were citizens of the nation.
Because the research that I did, it shows that he's not Cherokee he's not even an Indian by blood, period.
Well, he is. He is an Indian by blood.
But so if he is an Indian by blood, that's what I'm saying is then he's supposed to be a so-called dark man because again, the dark-skinned people were the original Indians. So again, where did he get to be an Indian by blood?
Well, his ancestors intermarried with white people. That's
but he looks Caucasian to me though. That's what I'm saying. When you say white, do you
Ready to take the leap and finally form your own limited liability company or LLC? We have all the tools you'll need to
Now
start.
y'all hear the truth.
you mean that white in the sense of
white European.
because there's different so-called looking white people. So again, that kind of like it's kind of like a word play. You know what I mean? It's semantics. You know what I mean? Because again, he looks white, but he may not be white European or Anglo-Saxon, but he's a white man.
I would say so.
Exactly.
If I saw him walking down the street, I would say, there goes a white man.
There you go.
However, our tribe is not necessarily made up of just brown or dark-skinned people. The Cherokee Nation is made up of citizens.
Yeah, and I get that. I totally get that, and I respect that. So again, so I guess all the Aboriginals, because would you guys consider yourself Aborigines?
I would consider us to be Aboriginals, and our government is an Aboriginal government.
Okay, so again, and once again, I mean, and it's not even Afrocentric because do you believe that first of all?
I mean, do y'all see how delusional they are? Do you hear the guy? Their organization, they're with the government, right? And now they consider themselves to be Aboriginal. Now we already know what an Aboriginal is. Then he said, "No, we are citizens. We are a group of citizens." You see how delusional they are. Oh, we don't use the blood quantum. Do you see how delusional they are? And how can we let this go this far, this long? And like I said, Chief Kalanago, he did a brilliant job with this right here by having it recorded this phone call. He did it live to show y'all. And that's why I'm replaying it, because I just think this was brilliant. To get the truth out so y'all can see these so-called tribes, they're number or government organizations. And they're there to keep the real Aboriginals, the people that are living in the projects, down. You are the real Aboriginal Americans. The people who are pushed into projects where they pushing guns, drugs, alcohol, where they have foreign immigrants come to America to be over top of you and having stores, selling to you, where they have a church on every corner and they got you worshiping Jesus. People, our ancestors didn't worship Jesus. All right. So I'm gonna go ahead and play this. Keep on, let this continue just for a little bit more.
Well, do you believe that life originated in Africa?
Life or human life?
Human life.
No.
You don't believe that?
No, I do not.
Okay, great, perfect. So if life didn't originate in Africa, how is it assumed that all dark-skinned people are from Africa? I mean, when the sun shines all over the world and the equator actually runs between, the continent of Africa and and the Americas and everybody in South America was dark skinned. So how is it assumed that every dark skinned person is African?
I don't assume that.
No, I'm not saying you, but I'm talking about in terms of, you know, because when I mentioned that the dark skin.
Now, y'all, hear what he said, that he does not assume that all black people or so-called African American or black people originated in Africa. Remember, he said that. Because y'all gonna hear what he says later. But hear what he just said. Okay? Mark those words.
And people in the Americas were dark, and you said that's Pan-Africanism. But again, we again agreeing that life didn't originate in Africa and all dark-skinned people are not African. So what happened to all the dark-skinned people that were actually on the American continent from time immemorial? Why is that? Because we didn't sign the Doors Rules. I know you say it's a governmental thing. So what do we do from there? Do we petition so that that could be changed, or it is just something that's ironclad? You have to have been on the Doors Road, whether you are an Aborigine or not, because like I said, it's scientifically proven that all the dark-skinned people were actually in the Americas before any light-skinned, pale, anybody, and the first people on the planet, to be quite frank, were dark-skinned. So that means everybody came from the womb of the dark-skinned woman, and that's scientifically proven. Isn't that a fact?
Well, I'm not really sure where you're trying to go with that.
No,
I'm not going to agree or disagree with you. I just know that my ancestors, which are Cherokee Indians, have been on this continent for thousands of years. And that my ancestors are not Africans. My ancestors are American Indians. And the people who are claiming that they are American Indians that are actually black, we don't buy into that. That's just not who we are.
Well, I mean, I know that's not who you are, because once again, I mean, of course, I mean, if people come into a land and they met people there and they happen to settle in, because remember, you said your ancestors came, right? So they've been here for thousands of years, but before they came, there were people here. You see what I'm saying? You see where I'm going with this?
Well, I see what you're trying to say.
No, that's what I'm trying to say. I mean, I'm saying that I have the fact that, you know, the people who actually call themselves natives right now, they haven't been here for thousands of years. So, you know, and I know it's the you think it is, but we have the scientific and we have the legal documents and historical documents to solidify and prove that fact. So, you know, I get that you were saying that, you know, to be part of the nation, it doesn't deal with blood quantum. It just strictly deals with citizenship. So again, anybody could just say, okay, you know what? Let us just form an organization and let us just deal with the United States, and we could be considered native. You know, but yet still, the people who will have been here again for millions of years, because my sisters have been here for, I mean, I'm talking about, man, I can't even go back and pinpoint a time when my ancestors were not. You know what I mean? So at some point, you guys...
Because that's what you want to believe.
No, that's not what I want to believe.
I think the sad thing about that is,
right?
You've talked for about 20 minutes now.
Yeah,
so let me tell you what I think.
What you think?
What I think is that African-American people have a personal opinion. I think a lot of African-American people in this country have a lot of self-hatred. So you guys want to be us because you don't want to be you. And so, you know, we can't change who you are, and you can't change who we are. Our relationships with the United States are our relationships. Our treaties are our treaties.
I totally
want to run around with feathers on and call yourself whatever you want to call yourself. That's your business.
No, I definitely get that. You know what I'm saying? And again, I'm not here to debate. It's just strictly a conversation. And I'm glad we're having this, because it's a conversation that needs to be had. Because once again, you said that life didn't originate in Africa. So why are you assuming that? Based on what you're saying, it's safe to say that you're assuming that every
not what I said. You asked me, did all life begin in Africa?
And you said no.
And I said no.
So my next question is,
then I asked you, I said, do you mean human beings? And I said no.
Do you think that
black people originated in Africa? The Indian people originated in the Americas, white people originated in Europe, people originated in Asia.
All right, so here's my question. Do you think that every so-called black person is from Africa?
No, because there are some in Fiji, there are some in Melanesia, there are some in India. You know, they're all over the place.
But you were saying that
I'm talking about the black people in the United States. Black people in the United States came over on slave trips from Africa.
you were saying that they're from everywhere else on the planet except none of them was in America before slavery.
None of, well, some of them might have been, I don't know, because
even they are not, because you see now you're being contradictory, because if you're saying that so-called black people was on every other planet except America before the...
What do you want? Want a job that I don't hate.
Please, you were saying that for some reason the sun didn't allow so-called black people to be in America before the slave trade. I mean, that alone in itself doesn't even make sense.
No, there were no black people here before Europeans got here because they brought you guys.
No, but guess what? Europeans didn't bring so-called dark-skinned people here. As a matter of fact, the first slaves on the American continent were Caucasian.
That's true.
That's not even relevant.
It is relevant. It's absolutely relevant.
You know, my grandmother, who was a full-blood Cherokee Indian, was dark-skinned. And she had permed her hair. She could have passed for a black person in North Tulsa, which is our black community here. So, yeah, there were dark-skinned people here, but not all dark-skinned people are black.
But in fact, nobody's black. We can call themselves black. We didn't call ourselves black. We are brown skin. So I don't
you guys had your own names for each other. I know that because you had your own tribes and your own languages.
So now you are actually admitting that before slavery there were dark-skinned people here.
There were American Indian here.
In terms of complexion, there were dark-skinned people here. We know we are American Indians, but they were dark-skinned.
No, you all are not American Indian. We are. You all are black people from Africa.
Listen, man. I mean, I see the game that you were playing, and once again, you know, I'm just saying that, you know, when the truth will come out to light, and you know, the Creator, you know what I'm saying, will bring everything to light, and the truth will come out. Because the point I'm trying to make is, you were telling me that every so-called black person, dark-skinned person, was on the continent except America, and now you are telling me, well, some of them were here, either they were or they are not. But then you're talking about black. I never said I was black. Black is a color that's really black. I'm not black. I'm brown. You see what I'm saying?
You're African.
So you're telling me I'm African, but you don't even know who I am, right?
I know what you told me, and what I said was my ancestors have been on this landmass for the time immemorial. Not at one point I said it was African, but you assume that I'm African. No, you told me that. No, I never said that. See? I asked you, do you think that all dark and all this line of stuff that you're telling me, we hear it all the time. Okay, so I'm lying. People with your views call us probably about once a month, and I'm calling, and like I said, that's why I said, you know, I'm calling because it's for the record, because we have to make sure that again we get to the bottom of this, because I realize that there are so many different cultures that here used to in, you know, our identity, and then when we approach them, you know, they tend to again evade the question and deal with it from more of an organizational perspective. Okay, well, you know what? This is what the United States said. We are the Indians. No, it's not what they say. It's what is. You know what I'm saying? But I totally get where you're coming from. It's an organizational thing. You don't have to be an Indian by blood to be part of the Cherokee, because the United States, hey, you know what? They're foreigners. They came here. They fought over, you know, my ancestors. And when I say my ancestors, I'm talking about the dark-skinned people who were on this continent before even you guys came. And they have to put somebody in our place. And I guess it happened that way. But the truth will come out. That's all I'm just saying. And again, I appreciate your time. Thank you. You know, you gave a lot of insight. And I got what I was looking for. So I appreciate that. And again, time will tell. Time will tell. All will come to light. So I hope you have a great day. And so look out for us because we are coming. All right? Got our eyes on. All right. Take care, man. I appreciate you. Thank you.
All right, so now y'all can get the full. I cut it right there. Y'all can get the full and the full video if you continue to watch that video. Continue reclassification of the Aboriginal American. So I already did that video. All right. So you see, Chief Kalanago, I mean, you can see now the hijack and the lies and how this all started. If we allow these people to keep saying that they are the indigenous Americans and they come from an organization with the government, and that's why they keep pushing this stuff over and over again. And the real Aboriginals were been then taught in the school systems that I remember, like I said, I used to have to mark a box. And the teacher, I remember as a kid, teacher told me, no, you have to mark black. There was an American, a Native American, a Caucasian, and I had to mark black. And that's what the kids have been doing in school. Then you were taught you were slaves, right? But that didn't really happen until after what's his name came out with the movie Roots. Then they started talking the slavery stuff, you know. And a lot of people believe the slave stories, but people have told you that that never happened. But of course, we don't own the media, so the information is like being registered between us. But for those who didn't know anything better, they regurgitated the slavery stories and all that stuff. And now they believe that they were brought up here on slave ships. But we can clearly prove that. And I think I proved that in some of the videos already, that that didn't happen. And so here the guys come talking about, yeah, we brought you here on the slave ships. No, you didn't. No, you didn't. But he claims to be, and just by going over my video, you saw that and Chief Kalanago is correct, that the original Aboriginal people are all dark-skinned people. That's why they were marveled at the whiteness when the white people came. So now the white people are now claiming that they are Aboriginals, as you saw in the beginning of this video. They're now that's supposed to be an Indian, and he can trace back his Indian heritage and all that stuff. It's a bunch of baloney. But I'm here to prove it. That's why this is the Truth Seeking Network.
Not exist. And on the other hand, I have to speak as one of the people who've been most attacked by what we must now here call the Western or the European system of reality. What white people in the world, the white doctrine of white supremacy, I hate to say it here, comes from Europe. That's how it got to America. Beneath then, whatever one's reaction to this proposition is, has to be the question of whether or not civilizations can be considered as such equal, or whether one civilization has the right to overtake and subjugate and in fact to destroy another. Now what happens when that happens? Leaving aside all the physical facts which one can quote, leaving aside rape or murder, leaving aside the bloody catalog of oppression, which we are in one way too familiar with already, what this does to the subjugated, the most private, the most serious thing this does to the subjugated, is to destroy his sense of reality. It destroys, for example, his father's authority over him. His father can no longer tell him anything because the past has disappeared, and his father has no power in the world. This means, in the case of an American Negro, born in that glittering republic, and in the moment you are born, since you don't know any better, every stick and stone and every face is white, and since you have not yet seen a mirror, you suppose that you are too. It comes as a great shock around the age of 5 or 6 or 7 to discover the flag to which you have pledged allegiance, along with everybody else, has not pledged allegiance to you. It comes as a great shock to discover that Gary Cooper killing off the Indians when you were rooting for Gary Cooper, that the Indians were you. It comes as a great shock to discover that the country, which is your birthplace, and to which you owe your life and your identity, has not in its whole system of reality evolved any place for you.
All you gotta do is go type in some words and you can get it right now and understand where you come from and how special you are.
Can I just end with this one thing? These 4 brothers sitting here, We didn't all come from Africa. And there was a there was a country before 1492, and our history goes way beyond 1492. So you can't start us at 1492. We were always here. We were always here. We were always here. We were always here.
All you gotta do is
because however much America strays away from the ideals of justice, the goal of America is freedom. Used and scorned though we may be, our destiny is tied up in the destiny of America. Before the Pilgrim Fathers landed at Plymouth, we were here. Before Jefferson etched across the pages of history the majestic words of the Declaration of Independence, we were here. Before the beautiful words of the Star-Spangled Banner were written, we were here. For more than 2 centuries, our forebears labored here without wages. They made cotton kings. They built the homes of their masters in the midst of the most humiliating and oppressive conditions. Yet out of a bottomless vitality, they continue to grow and develop. Because however much America strays away from the ideals of justice, the goal of America is freedom. Used and scorned though we may be, our destiny is tied up in the destiny of America. Before the Pilgrim Fathers landed at Plymouth, we were here. Before Jefferson etched across the pages of history the majestic words of the Declaration of Independence, we were here. Before the beautiful words of the Star-Spangled Banner were written, we were here. For more.
Y'all, so now I'm about to end this video. I think I put enough information in here. I could have, like I said, I could have went a lot more, put a lot more information in this video, but I think I did enough to show you that what they did, how they did it, and the lies that were told, and the lies are still being told. Like I say, we living in a country that's full of lies. And the only way for those lies to stop is for the people to wake up. People, you have to wake up to the truth. And I don't care if you're black, you're white, whatever, okay? You have to wake up for the truth. You know the truth. Everybody knows the truth. Nobody don't want to say it. But this is the Truth Seeking Network, and I'm saying it. All right? The Christianity was a lie. And how can a government love you or like you when they lie to you? If they give you a false deity to worship, change your identity, have you coming from somewhere else, and having people take your spot. If the people in the projects only knew who they really were. So please spread the video, get it out, and start telling the truth. All right? This is all about, this is to tell the truth. These lies have got to stop. All right? Don't forget to like, share, subscribe. And I'll catch y'all on the next one. Peace. Till next time.